I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
It is time for Happy Hour. It is the Man Cave Happy Hour. Whiskey, cigars, spirits, the stories that go along with them. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I'm Matt Fox.
I'm saying my own name. I'm August Gitchlag.
Hey, it's got to happen
Wow,
sometime.
we don't do it that way. Throwing me for a curve here on a Hangover Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a Hangover Monday, and there's like a lot of booze on the
There's
table.
a lot of booze on
It
the
was like,
table. I know.
We had a wonderful, wonderful time yesterday.
Our second wonderful time at the Whiskey Taco Foxtrot Whiskey Society event.
Yes.
So much fun. We brought him back.
Yeah, the next day.
Shampoo, rinse, and repeat.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's right. The old shampoo effect.
That's it. Because it was a tasting, and so we're getting into the Redwood Empire spirits today. So that's where we're headed momentarily. But first, August, who do we drag along today?
Well, we got our host from yesterday, who a voice you've heard on the podcast before. Charlie Sampson over here, good buddy of mine, who owns a proprietor of the place.
Excellent. Welcome back, Charlie.
Thank you guys for having me.
And then we knew after that
my.
ABCs of Canadian whiskey event that we were gonna get Jennifer on this show at some point.
Oh, you iffered me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, am I supposed to if for you? It's just an N then?
Just Jen.
Just
Jen.
Good, yeah.
Don't if her.
Yeah.
I will not get formal then.
No,
No
Alright.
ifers. I'm a 2N Jen with a cherry on the end. We're good.
Boom. That's it. So 2N Jen here we got, and her energy was infectious, and we're like, we got to find a way to get her on. So then I'm like, okay, it just worked out that she had a new spirit, and we could make some phone calls and some text messages, and get hooked up with the Redwood Empire folks.
So,
again.
but the way Jen sold this yesterday, it was like you made this stuff. I mean, you are so good at what you do. It's real. We have to have her sit down and tell this story about these spirits and the company and everything, because you sold it. It's just so amazingly well. I was so informed.
Thank you.
And but she's like, you know what? I'm going to throw a trump card on that, and we're going to bring one of the owners in.
Yeah.
Master distiller.
Distiller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jeff Duckhorn is a master distiller.
Yay.
Hey, Jeff. Welcome into
Hey.
the Man Cave.
Welcome to Man Cave.
How's it going?
Excellent. So yeah, it's like she's like, I can go one better. I will bring the master distiller to you. So we ran through these yesterday, but to be honest, we were eating a lot of Mexican food.
Yeah.
There were a couple margaritas down the gullet first.
It's the way to do it.
And
More
then
than 6 cocktails that you had to try.
and then
I was
Yeah.
told there was only going to be 6 cocktails.
It was told there was be no math. It was just all math and booze.
It was math and booze. I'm sorry, guys.
so we wanted to give them an honest, thoughtful review and kind of dive into them again when we're not in the midst of the insanity of because you have a whiskey club at is that what is it? It's a whiskey club? Is that what you guys call it?
Society.
Whiskey Society.
Yeah,
Ooh,
we're
la-
classy.
la, la, la.
Sounds better when you say society.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
And they have
Cult.
regular
cult.
gatherings. And they do different things. They do how to make cocktails or tastings and just all kinds of just fun things with the club. And you really treat your the society, the Whiskey Society, and you really treat the folks well. And yesterday the focus was on Redwood. So
Well, we wanted to celebrate Earth Month.
yeah,
And I couldn't think of a better sustainable and also giving back to the planet than Redwood Empire out of California.
Mhm.
All the spirits are named after these beautiful trees, all the way up from Sacramento to Oregon, and then the story of how what they give back to the community and the world and the planet is amazing. I mean, for every cocktail sold, they plant a tree.
That's just astounding.
And do you mind, Jeff, since we have you, can you please tell them how many trees you guys have planted since you
It
guys?
seems like you're doing pretty well on your own there, Jen.
All right, Jeff, let's go to the tote board.
Right. I don't know what the exact number is today. It's on our website. We were at 1.7 million, I believe, to start. Earth Month, and Earth Month is our big focus month. And the goal was to plant 100,000 trees this month with that Cocktails for a Cause program, and I think we're pretty close. I haven't seen, like I said, the numbers in the last couple of days, but
Cocktails.
That was the goal. They kind of coming after the fact a little bit, yeah. So
Cocktails
super cool.
for a Cause. I love it, Jeff. We're gonna get more into the company and the Cocktails for a Cause, but before we do that, Jeff,
tell us about your childhood.
Yes. Well, he's got a good one. He's I love the fact that they call you the accountant that went rogue.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I did read that. That's
All
kind of
right.
interesting. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go there. Yeah. So I am the master distiller, for lack of a better term. It's kind of a silly term that we use in this industry, but whatever. It's fun. I have been doing it for a decade now, so I feel like I do know a little bit about what I'm doing, but it wasn't always that way. I started out working for our parent company, Purple. It was actually a wine company at the time, and we're now Purple Brands, and we're a family of brands. So we have wine brands, spirit brands. But back in 2012, our owner sold a big wine brand and got some money and wanted to reinvest in the industry and really wanted to diversify out into spirits. And so that's kind of where our company started talking about this realm of spirits and craft spirits in particular. And if you can think back to kind of 2012, when things were just kind of starting to get going, and there was a lot of interest from the consumer standpoint and just a lot of fertile ground. And so in the company started talking about that. Personally, I'd been at the winery for a year and had been in other wineries doing accounting, and specifically mostly cost accounting. So super sexy stuff, like very exciting, number crunching spreadsheets, all that good stuff.
So you got great Excel skills is what you're
right. Oh yeah. Mean pivot tables for sure.
Yeah.
VLOOKUPs, all that good stuff. Yeah. But as most of us people that sit at computers all day I do have some creative outlets, and I love to make things, and I love to go home and play in my garden and grow things. And I love fermentations of all kinds. And so this talk of a distillery started happening, and I was like, this is a perfect time to pivot out of accounting, because I was ready to kind of take on a new challenge. And I still love my numbers, but was wanting to do something a little bit more in production and actually, the process and the making. And so I quickly raised my hand and said, I want to be involved in that. And they quickly said, what qualifications do you have? And I said, well, I like to drink whiskey, and truth be told, I've been making beer for many, many years, probably before I could legally drink beer. And I love, making stuff. And so I started bringing in my wares and my home brew and my bread, and people at first were like, no, I don't want to touch that stuff. I might get poisoned. And I said, no, and one of my buddies was working there at the time, and he kind of helped pay my way in there. And so I got on the radar, so to speak. And I got our owner actually, knowing who I was, which was always step one. To remap yourself. And then I kind of just started insinuating myself in the conversation. Took us a couple of years to get built out. Things went a little bit different than we'd planned with our day one distiller, and there happened to be an opportunity when we got going in 2015. And I was the guy in the corner, just like, put me in, coach.
Right.
And they did, for better or for worse for them. But I think it's worked out pretty well. I mean, we've had a good ride of it. And it's, like I said, our 10-year anniversary this year. So super fun.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then welcome to Michigan, right? How long have you guys been here?
So I'm not quite sure when Redwood Empire started being distributed in Michigan. I'm familiar with it from living in Chicago as just really good, sustainable spirits that tell a story and then take you on a journey with it. So, thanks for asking a question I don't know the answer to.
I'm only saying that because we go through a lot of booze here. So, so I'm like, we like to know, like, wow, we haven't seen this one yet. This is great.
Right. Yeah.
So, Illinois was one of our first markets outside of California. We had some really good relationships with distributors. I think Michigan took a little bit longer to get up and running, but my guess is it's been there for a couple of years. But we have a new sales director for that territory, and I think he's made some new inroads and has helped to get us relevant again.
You made a friend in Jen, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And it just takes one. You get one Jen, and then the world just opens up.
There's only one Jen in the world. So.
So true. Really It really is.
Y'all stop.
So
Yeah.
what three do we have here on the table today, guys?
Yeah.
So-
I can't read the labels from over here.
So you have Pipe Dream, which is their bourbon. It's a
Right.
4-grain bourbon.
Was this the first?
That was the first in our tasting yesterday.
Yep.
And I kind of, this is the way it goes. And then we jump to the Emerald Giant,
right. That is
which
the
is the rye.
Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then the third is the Lost Monarch, which is a blended whiskey using the similar mash bills from Pipe Dream and Emerald Giant together.
Oh.
And all of them are named again after the iconic trees, the Breadwood trees, the sequoias, all inspired by John Muir. So
Mm.
the father of our
Mr.
national
Sierra
parks.
Club.
Yes.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
how am I doing there, Jeff?
You're doing great. I mean, like, amazing. Yeah. So all three of these whiskeys do share a few things in common. They are named after living old growth redwood trees here in Northern California. I mean, it's kind of ironic if you live around here, if you come out and visit us, you know, I'm in Sonoma County right now, which was where our original distillery was founded and where our winery is. And pretty much everything out here is redwood themed. You know, actually the high school I went to about an hour south of here was Redwood High. We were the Redwood Giants. So, and you know, the bank down the street's Redwood. Our garbage company is Redwood. So Redwood, it definitely runs deep through us. And so when we were coming up with our brand name in 2016, 2017, you know, what better name than something that would really resonate with our ethos and where we are in the world. And, you know, we really want to kind of dial into this Northern California inflection point, and that's really where we are, and that's kind of what we take to heart. And we're proud of the fact that we're not another Kentucky whiskey company. You know, I think it's important for people to understand that you can make really nice whiskey all over the country. There's a ton of distilleries now that are making really great spirit throughout the country, and so we don't want to hide that fact. We want to lean into it. So our brand name really does a great job of kind of, you know, geographically putting you right in this specific point where we're at. And then, yeah, the trees are just a fun way to kind of tie it all together. Our packaging does a great job of kind of telling that whole story. There's even the images on the bottles are like fictitious likeness of John Muir on all the labels. And so, especially the Emerald Giant, which I don't have because I drank all my Emerald Giant. I'm at my house, so I forgot to bring a bottle home.
No secret stash.
Yeah, exactly. But all of them have really fun imagery. The latitude, longitude of the actual tree is on the side of the front label.
Oh, I'm seeing that.
And these trees are still alive,
cool.
and they're pretty amazing. The back bottom panel kind of talks about the specific tree. So just really fun imagery and storytelling. And all these trees, they're over 300 feet tall. They're well over 1,000 years old. They're pretty amazing, iconic trees. And then quotes from John Muir on all of our labels as well. So just really fun storytelling. We launched all three of these together at the same time when we launched Redwood Empire in fall of 2019. And so that's really kind of where our brand came to be. And we can all think back to 2019, a little different world back then.
A little bit.
A little different.
We thought it was a good time to launch a new whiskey brand. And then we had that little COVID thing hit us within 6 months. But despite that, we've actually done pretty well over the last 5 to 6 years now. And a lot of that is a test to the whiskey societies and groups out there in the U.S. that we're trying to come together during COVID when they didn't have much of an outlet, and just trying to find human connections and like, hey, let's get on a Zoom call together and just shoot the shit about whiskey and find a new whiskey we haven't heard of and just talk about it. And so we had people reaching out to us. I got to do a bunch of these really fun
We have a whole podcast about it, Jeff. That's what we do.
I mean, it was pretty wild. That really helped to kind of get us on the map, so to speak. And so it's been really fun to watch this project kind of grow up over the last 5 years. We did sell over 50,000 12-pack cases of whiskey last year. And so we are in about every state now, more or less. And so we've grown quite a bit, which has just been very exciting.
Something you said yesterday, Jen, that I completely take into account now is we were drinking this yesterday. There was food all over the place.
Yes.
There was all kinds of smells and all kinds of action. and it does taste like a different spirit today than it did
Yeah,
yesterday.
I mean, taking the temperature of everybody around the room yesterday was completely different. Some people were like, "Oh, this doesn't really stand up," and I was like, "Well, yeah, this girl next to you is eating like a chorizo burrito, and that's all I can smell when I get over here. I can just smell."
Delicious, by the way.
That's but I mean, that's what's fun about the Whiskey Society too, is that I introduce with Charlie allows me to come and just be a shenanigans of a person, but I get to introduce people that would never maybe purchase this or spend the money to buy a whole bottle of something that they hadn't heard about or that. And then literally at the end of every tasting, they're coming up to me and they're asking me, where can I buy this? Who's carrying this? I want this for my home. And it's very rare. It's very rare that somebody does not like or love or completely become enamored or absolutely obsessed with the spirit. So with Pipe Dream, this is such a unique blend of mash bill. Could you mind walking us through that? Because that 20% rye is really cool there with that 74%.
Yeah. So our numbers aren't on our bottles. You will find percentages kind of throughout our literature. They are constantly evolving. And so when we started making whiskey in 2015, didn't really know what we were going to do. I mean, you got to give us a little slack. We're a wine company kind of getting new into the world. So we knew that bourbon was going to be a big deal for us. Maybe some rye. We laid down some brandy, a little bit of single malt because I like a little bit of beer. But we definitely started playing with different mash bills. We also had, and I'm going to use past tense here, but we just bought a new distillery, and I can go into that a little bit if we have time. But up until last year, we were operating out of a pretty small distillery that we only had the production capacity for about 1,000 barrels a year. And we pretty quickly realized that, well, that's a decent amount. That's like 20,000, 12 packs. We want to be bigger than that. And so we started going out and sourcing whiskey really from day one, even before we had the distillery up and running. We ordered some trucks of MGP White Dog, shipped out from Indiana and had it delivered. And we started filling barrels, in the winery while we were waiting to get our distillery up and running. And we continue to purchase whiskey today. And we're very open about that. And myself and my master blender, Lauren, we love the fact that we get to have two jobs. We get to be makers. And we lost video there. Are we still good?
Yep. Gotcha.
No, you're good.
And
yeah, we get to have two jobs. We get to be makers. We get to make things from scratch. And every Redwood product out there has some of our grain to glass in it. But we also get to be blenders. We get to go out and curate these amazing whiskeys that are produced throughout the country from places like Indiana and Kentucky and Tennessee, and now more in California. And so this core series are all a blend of in-house distillate and other whiskeys, in this case, bourbon for the Pipe Dream from around the country. So an incredibly complex blend. This is Pipe Dream's now up to, I believe we're 8 different distilleries now. It's 4 states. Wow. So it's California, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee. Minimum 4 year, that's the age statement, but we have all the way up to 14 years. So when we start talking about these percentages, that's where the Excel hat comes back on, because they're incredibly complex. But the Pipe Dream doesn't have a lot of wheaters in there. Most of the bourbons are going to be secondary rye mash bill. And so Indiana's got, it's I think it's 18% is the rye on the secondary. We play around with that a lot. We have, 15 to 20 typically, and then it just really varies by distillery. And so on average, we're probably right around 20% rye at secondary grain. But we do love wheat, and we put wheat into everything we distill in-house. And then starting in 18, we started partnering with Bardstown Bourbon Company out of Bardstown, Kentucky, and they make mash bills for us, and they add wheat to everything they do for us as well. And so there is, while this is definitely secondary rye grain, and you're getting some of that really nice rye spice off that, there is a touch of wheat in here in addition to malt barley, and I think that gives it just kind of some extra softness and maybe a little bit more with some floral notes as well.
I get the notes, but there's a warmth to this that sits on the back of your palate.
Maple syrup.
As it sits, it gets sweeter.
Yeah. Yesterday I was saying, it's like an apricot jam kind of tone to it.
Yeah. What's funny about it, I was like trying to look at the legs, right? And I tipped it and I'm looked back. I'm like, well, this thing has no legs at all. And then I looked, I'm like, oh no.
Oh, it's there.
It's just totally stuck on there, and it's not even it's not even dripping down. It's so stuck on the side of the glass. I'm like, oh my gosh. Because normally it's that drippy, drippy, drip. It takes a moment or two before the drippy, drippy drips even start.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow, that's
hangs
got a serious hang time.
Yeah, I'm incredibly fortunate that our owner let us go out and buy some aged whiskeys in addition to new make early on. And so, like I said, we have up to 14-year and a lot of
changes everything. It changes the whole character flavor.
Oh,
it changes the whole thing. This I've never been afraid of blended whiskeys. People are snobs about their single batches, their small batches, or one-offs. I love a good, consistent blended whiskey.
You are going to stand by that for as long as you live. Yes.
Yeah, I tout it every time we drink blended whiskeys.
Yeah, I think this is their Pipe Dream also comes in cask strength. It comes in bottled and bond, which so this
heavy duty stuff.
What we're drinking is the core, but they do have limited series. They do have their cask strength series, which are just
keep the nerds happy and have a good
super
house
excited,
liquor.
like Screaming Titans and Rocket Top, just really, really unique. Again, also,
What is the percentage on that?
45.
45. Okay.
Yes.
45.
Coming in.
Our cask strengths are around 115, 116 proof. We have a Pipe Dream 101 now that I think is a really nice kind of 101. That's really fun. It's obviously 101 proof, but it's also 5-year minimum. It's got more of our grain of glass in it, and that one is just hitting retail now, and it's a really fun kind of in-betweener. And then we do seasonal releases because we love to play at the distillery and we want to show that off. So we do a bottle and bond release every year that by definition is 100% from us. And that's different every year. And the back label has the exact percentages of each batch. So really fun. We have this beautiful array of whiskeys now, but these 3 that you have in front of you are a great entry point for people to get into the Redwood Empire because they just show off kind of the breadth of what we do through these 3 beautiful expressions. And the goal is for them to taste differently. And so as we taste through them, I hope we get there.
Yeah, and these aren't like $80, $90 bottles either. They're priced to drink.
Yeah. Where are we at with these basically?
Usually around 35, 40.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I looked at. I looked it up online. It was about $35 or $38 bottle for the.
Yeah. Our national average is right at 35.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Because you can't get a Buffalo Trace for that anymore.
No.
You can't get Buffalo Trace anyway. We don't need a buffalo. We got a tree.
So
that's true.
That first one was spicy.
No bites and tears.
Yeah, let's say there was a warmth on the first one.
Yeah,
there was. I was getting the rye on that. Now this one is the rye.
The rye.
Okay, so that's the one I don't have in front of me, but I have, truth be told, sampled it once or twice.
You've had a couple. You've had a dram or two.
You don't say.
You dabbled.
I think I can speak pretty intelligently to it. I love a big high rye. When we're talking about rye whiskey, I want to really ramp up the rye. I mean, we got to bring in that 95% MGP rye. I love that. I love the wintergreen, the dill, the spice box elements of that. I like a little bit more oomph in my pores. And so I love that. When it came time for us to do our own mash bill for rye, we added 5% wheat to it. So we're 90% rye, 5 barley, 5 wheat. And then Bardstown does that for us as well. And so the Emerald Giant you have in your glass, at this point, you're probably pushing around 3% wheat. So just a touch of wheat and just a little bit over 90% rye. No corn was harmed in the making of this whiskey.
I always go and look up. I always go look up some of the Whiskey Nerds reviews, and they always come up with some crazy analogies for what you're tasting.
Right. What was
this one? My favorite one about this is I said it has notes of freshly clipped scallions.
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
Because I'm getting green. I get that green, grassy, greeny. And I could see how that could be grassy or a greeny scallion.
Like
herbaceous.
I've never heard that in a whiskey review, though. That's why I thought it was worth mentioning.
But Jeff, you said something, and you said the word dill.
Yeah, dill.
Yeah. You said dill, and that's something I don't think I've ever heard anybody specify that they feel dill in a bourbon.
In whiskey,
well, this is a rye.
And this is a rye. Yeah, so I get a lot of almost in the nose. I haven't sipped it yet, but in the nose, I'm now for the first time smelling eucalyptus.
Oh, wow.
In a way that's just really, really exciting. But still having that nice carriage of brown sugar in the tone.
I mean, orange marmalade, something that I definitely get on that a lot.
That's probably because your spirit animal is a koala.
Oh,
Wait
wait a minute.
Anyway, all
those
right.
are notoriously bad. They have
Are
some
they?
really.
Are they really? Are
They're
they
like
evil?
they got the most like STDs of
Oh,
any animal or
no,
anything.
okay.
I'm like,
Sorry, casting no aspersions.
Anyways,
right, yes,
All right,
moving
we're
on. Back to the whiskey.
Back to the eucalyptics.
You're bringing koala
So-
STDs into this.
I know that was not on my bingo card.
Well,
No,
that
that
was
was not.
Not my
Koala
tasting notes.
No.
Thank you,
I'm gonna
gentlemen.
have to look that one up.
I'm going to be exiting here
Ah.
now.
So what? So I'm getting all the rye, the
I'm
the
getting
grassy, the
A
greeny.
delicious
the-
wryness
a
on
spice.
this. Yeah.
But what I'm getting, right on the very tip of my tongue,
Yes, sir.
sugar,
Mhm.
a sugar, just like it was like you
Demira.
dipped your finger in a sugar bowl and just touched
Yeah, I
it
get
to
a
your
certain mintiness too to it. I mean, I might bust this out for the mint juleps next weekend
tongue. Ooh, yeah.
for Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
That is coming up.
So I think the wheat gives you a little bit of that softness. Also, I'm a huge fan of malt. We use specialty malts in everything we do. We have a malt house an hour down the road from us that makes amazing floor malts. And so
There you go.
we're constantly rotating through our malt portion. So while the malt's only 5% of this, we're using really good high quality malts, flavorful malts. We're not using like just base distiller's malt. We're using things that are going to really do some heavy lifting. And it's pretty amazing at even that 5%, those malts do add some nice sweetness and some texture to the rye. A lot of ryes are very short and then they just disappear. And I like that this one has a little bit more scary.
These are your babies, right?
Yeah.
Well, your babes. So this is something to be proud of. We're very lucky to have you on here. This is pretty.
Yeah.
This is pretty damn cool.
Yeah. Because August, he's a little bit of a rye snob. He loves his ryes.
Yeah, I'm a rye guy.
He's
You're
definitely-
You got to get a bottle of a rocket top. Jen, you got to get him a bottle of our rocket top. Because like for me, that's our bottle and bond. That's
If I could get a bottle of Rocket Top, that would be great.
we'll make that happen.
All right.
It
I
is.
think he knows people. Oh wait, he is people.
Yeah, right.
He is the person.
He is the people.
Yeah, Rocket Top's our bottle and bond rye, and so we released batch 4 last fall, and we're just right now blending batch 5. That'll come out later this summer. So that one I think is just fun. It's a huge counterpoint to this. I think this rye is a little bit softer, more approachable. That's the intent, being at this price point and being kind of our entry level series. The Rocket Top's definitely a meatier, heavier, like cigar like rye. Which is just
you said my favorite word.
yeah.
Cigar.
Cigar.
Yeah.
My least favorite word.
That's Matt's the most cigarish of us. I come in second in August. Is
I don't dabble.
if you force me,
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about talking to Charlie as we kind of build out what each month of the next month's whiskey societies would be.
Mhm.
Like I was kind of thinking that maybe we do like a invite only
Cigar whiskey.
to do
Yeah.
cigars,
Well-
whiskeys, and maybe some allocated spirits, cast
Oh.
strength, things that are a little bit so not just 100,000% shenanigans, really
Uh-huh.
just actually getting there and tasting
We
the
do
juice.
know the Sticks Mobile Cigar Lounge people
Yes,
very
that's
well.
exactly. You read my mind.
Oh.
That could be something
This
really
could
cool
be
for the
another good
holidays.
partnership. I love
Yes.
Yeah, they park it right
Yay.
in front of the bar,
Uh-huh.
and people can walk in and out of their turn a camper into a cigar bar.
Yeah,
Right.
it's crazy. It's
that.
it's so
Sounds
much
like
fun.
that's a great 4th of July one.
No. If anything,
I'm
we
not
learned,
working that weekend.
Well, I
No.
mean, not that weekend, but the July in general.
Okay,
No.
that's fair.
Celebrating freedom.
There you
I
go.
don't know. There's nothing that when it's 96 degrees outside that
But
makes me
Hiding
want to
in
drink
burning
some
truck
like
and having cigars.
Put a hot stick in my mouth.
yeah, hot stick in my mouth and 120, ABV on my whiskey there. I'm not a big fan on that. So
Yeah, I would point that one to like October.
okay.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right
like
when the
something
weather
that's nice and
changes and-
cool and climate wise.
And Kevin and them are with the Mobile Cigar Lounge are just great people. They're so cool. So
And then Jeff,
That's-
you have time to plan to come up and visit.
yeah, we
Yeah.
get shit town.
See?
Where are you, by the way? I didn't get to see.
We're in Detroit.
Okay, I kind of figured. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not been out there yet for work. I've been pushing, so I would love to come out.
we'll
Not
get
in
to
the winter.
I'm sorry,
Fall-
what?
Not in the winter, but fall would probably be lovely.
Oh,
Our falls are beautiful.
fall is amazing
Yeah.
here.
It's
I've
what
heard
made
fall's
me
good.
move, it's what made me move from Chicago. So
Okay.
so the gents have just poured last
The
month.
last
This
month.
was my favorite yesterday.
Did you hear me go? Ooh,
This was my
Yeah.
favorite.
Lost Monarch.
That was an
So this is probably my personal favorite of the three, just because it's unique. And I do love Emerald Giant for that big bold rye, and but I like this one because it's sneaky. Like I want to sneak more rye into people's lives, and this is my attempt to do that. And so this is not a bourbon, this is not a rye, this is an American whiskey, blended whiskey. These things go by different terms, but it's kind of a distiller's playground. It's a place where we get to play and mix, already aged distillates together and make something new out of them. And so it does say on the label that we did add it to the label last year. It says bourbon rye blend at the bottom of the label, I believe, unless you've got an older bottle there.
We might have
Can-
an older. We might
can
have
we-
an older bottle.
Can we talk about the government and labels?
Oh my God! Do you have another hour for that?
No, it's like we've had a couple people on, and we had no idea what an arduous task it was to make a label.
It's crazy, and not consistent is the frustrating thing. You can get denied 10 times and then just cancel your submission and submit it again. Somebody else gets it, and they're just like, check the box, you're good.
Yep.
That would be fun. That would be a
Yeah.
fun panel.
My
Yeah.
brewer
at a-
friends,
like a
People might get really angry, so you can keep the whiskey flowing.
talking about how much we hate the government and
Mhm.
their control and lack of
yeah,
consistency on these things.
my friends that have breweries. Every time they get
Yeah.
a new beer, it's like, God damn
Oh,
it!
yeah.
Gotta
you know,
come
it's
up with a
just the
label.
worst.
Our
Well, those
friends
brewers are always pushing the bounds on labels, so they're
Yeah.
trying to get away with stuff.
and vodka,
Yes, they are. They're
yeah.
trying to hide things into the pictures. And
Yeah,
do all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, and I know they're doing it, so I'm not really mad at
So this is Lost Monarch is like our sneaky rye.
Okay.
So it is technically majority rye whiskey. So it's rye whiskeys blended with bourbon whiskeys, but it is 55-ish% rye whiskeys blended with 45%-ish bourbon whiskeys. So they're aged separately. There is a little bit of 3-year-old rye in this. It's predominantly 4-year and older.
Okay.
It isn't an exact 1-for-1 of Lost
It
Monarch.
doesn't taste young, and that's what
It definitely has some older bourbon stocks in there for sure. And now older rye stocks, our rye stuff is actually, I've got 8 to 10-year-old rye now, which is amazing.
Oh, there you go.
And so for me, it's really fun conversation point. This doesn't do as well retail for us because most consumers, it's hard to pick up the bottle. And that's why the new label says bourbon rye blend to try to help educate a little bit, but it usually gets stuck in the other category.
Send me your leftovers.
Okay, all right, well noted. But on premise, this does really well at restaurants and bars because it's really fun to play with and mix with, and it's got a lot going on, and for me, that's kind of what I like. And so I think this is
see
just a
this
fun
being
one.
an excellent old fashioned
Yeah,
yeah.
spirit. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it'd be great. Then it's a regular rye. I usually do like Templeton or something like that. When you see it, this is.
Yeah.
I'll take this over Bullet all day.
Oh, for
That's-
I'll
sure.
take,
that's-
I'll
I'm
take
sure.
anything over Bullet. But
You must not sell it, so that's why you hate it. But I get it.
no, I just have opinions. That's
Yeah.
all.
Okay, you're allowed
No,
to.
I'm with you.
Uh,
I'm
th-
with you, sister.
This thing, when we did our cocktail competition yesterday, I was really surprised. Nobody chose this
Oh.
for the base
No, they
spirit.
didn't.
Oh,
Yeah,
They,
no one
they
did.
only chose Pipe Dream and Emerald Giant because I do think like what he said is that it's hard for people to wrap their minds around when they see the word just American whiskey or
Mhm.
blend or whatever. They think
Yeah.
that somehow they're being shortchanged
You're absolutely right. That's
right.
the
flavor profiles
that's the
or
thing.
authenticity or artistry. But in fact, this is the complete all of those things. This is
Yeah.
this is being authentic to the spirit, but then also having innovation and really like unlocking and tapping into just creation in
Mhm.
general.
Well,
So
I put this up there, and I can't wait to hear your opinion on this one because I'm going to drop another brand. I really enjoy Michter's American.
Okay.
That
yeah.
blend, that
All
blend of
right.
whiskey, and I would put this on the right next to it.
Okay.
How do you feel about that, Jeff?
I'd be more than happy to see. I mean, that would, when we were thinking about what we're gonna make, like Michter's for me has always been up there, and they continue to be up there because they've just stuck to their guns. They've been consistent. They haven't gone off course too far, and they just make beautiful spirits. So, hey, I'll take that any day.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for joining us too. I'm just so happy that you were able to hop on this
Yeah.
call with us on
Yeah.
the East Coast.
For
You-
being last minute, this
you
is
on the
great.
West
Thank
Coast.
It's all good.
Thank you.
And just thank you for what you are bringing as somebody who has run restaurants for quite a while and now on the other side of it, selling to restaurants and seeing how the industry has changed. having newness is what keeps me excited about the business, but then also being able to share it to the community. So thank you guys too here at Man Cave Happy Hour too for having this podcast. Or did I say it?
You
wrong?
did. You got totally right.
It's like
Nailed
happy,
it.
Happy Cave Man Hour.
Well, that's a different show. Those guys will be here later.
That's a slippery
That's
slope.
after
Okay.
Yeah, Miss Mouthy and the Happy Cave.
Yeah. But no, to have this that and thank you for having this little liquor leprechaun on to talk about stuff. But
oh my goodness.
Can we use that going forward now?
Liquor
Are we allowed to take that?
I mean, I am wearing green and I'm a redhead.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Then we'll get Mrs. Vino and the liquor leprechaun on here one day.
Oh,
It'll be
my
one hell of an
goodness.
episode.
But again, thank you, Jeff, so much for you guys have an amazing team there with Lauren Patz as your master blender, with all of her history and culinary skills, just really tapping into what palate can do. So I appreciate the artistry of Redwood Empire, and I can't wait to see what you guys are doing in the future.
So Jeff, is there a like a distillery? Do you have like a tasting room? Is there like tours? What happens at Redwood Empire?
Yeah, great question. So we've been looking for a new home to expand for the last 5 years, just because that the 1,000 barrels a year that have been producing since 2015 just isn't enough for where we want to go. And so we were planning to build out from new, and been looking and hadn't found the right place. And then a distillery landed in our lap that was for sale that had the exact still, a 24-inch Vendome column, 40 feet tall.
Nice.
That I've been actually had spec'd out. And so we pulled the trigger on that at the very end of last year, bought the distillery. It's about an hour from where I'm at now. So it's a little bit actually closer to San Francisco, but a little farther east. It's on an island called Mare Island, which is a retired naval base with a really fascinating history.
On an island that was a naval base.
Oh my God.
There's some stories here.
Oh my God.
200 years of building vessels that were built and were in every major conflict for the last 200 years. Fascinating history. But for us, most importantly, a beautiful distillery. It was just commissioned in 2019, so very new. And they have an amazing tasting room, restaurant, full bar, hospitality setup. And so
And that's where you guys are moving into? Is that where you're moving
we moved into there at the very beginning of the year, and we've been working through our licensing, and then all for myself and Lauren and our team, all the logistical challenges. We have already laid down 700 barrels there since the beginning of the year, and we're the licensing will probably completely get flipped in the next month, and we'll be able to actually reopen it as the Redwood Empire room and the Redwood Empire, tasting experience, sell bottles, like I said, food, restaurant, full bar. Very excited about all that. So that's
Congratulations.
if you go to our Redwood Empire Whiskey, Insta or whatever, and follow us on there, we have updates coming on that, and it should be, like I said, within the next month we'll get that finalized. So
I love the sound of a distillery on an island,
right.
With a redwood theme. I'm just I'm in. I need a plane ticket.
Real quick, I have to ask, and feel free to nod or shake your head or give a thumbs up, Jeff. Did you guys take over Savage and Cook's old?
We did, yes.
Yes. Okay, so guys, what's exciting about that?
Okay.
Is that
There weren't many that are on an island that used to be a naval base. It's
but there's like beautiful water in that area. Water makes good grain. Good grain makes good whiskey. So that's when you said it, I was like, oh, wait, what? Yeah.
And the guy that built it, he did a little brand called The Prisoner, and so he spares no expense, and so he built out an amazing place. It's beautiful. I love it. So we're very excited to be there, and excited for all the opportunities it provides us. For Lauren and myself, really, the number one for us is just increased production. So we're gonna tiptoe into it. So we're gonna do about 3,000 barrels of production this year, which is again 3 times what we've ever done. We can very quickly, grow up to probably 5,000, maybe 10,000 barrels someday. I would love for us to drive more and more of our portfolio toward, 100% in-home distilled, in-house.
That's the goal, right? Yeah.
And I'm enjoying the fact that you're growing at a pace that you're comfortable with. So if you grow too fast, then you're kind of you might get away from, the bottle, what's in the bottle. The fact that you're taking these smaller steps, I just think that's brilliant. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for continuing to support us and giving us this opportunity to be here.
All right.
So fantastic.
I'm loving
Well,
it.
Yeah, I love it.
I went
good
for a
stuff.
second pour on the Monarch.
Yeah.
I did.
I knew from
I
yesterday I saw the. I'm like, yes, the Monarch is here. That's the one. It's gonna
It's
taste so much
sneaky good.
better.
And don't discount the paper plane for the summer cocktails. You don't have to stop drinking whiskey. You can just change how you consume it.
And we did. We tasted a lot of people yesterday. I mean, August, you hated it because you kept saying it was sweet, but I looked at it and I was like, these are porch pounders.
I just had to say something obnoxious in front of people on the microphone to make them laugh.
Okay, all right.
If you had a ladle at a baby shower, this would be delicious. It's stuff like that. It was being a jerk.
mean for
But-
no reason.
And it was my girlfriend's cocktail, so I couldn't let it win.
What was it? What was the cocktail?
It was basically the old take on the summer of the lemonade and bourbon
It was
cocktails.
like a Lynchburg lemonade.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
Lynchburg lemonade with a lot of like raspberries and blueberries in there and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Little
it tasted delicious. And I
You're
mean,
right, porch pounder.
I said
my
porch
nickname
pounder.
in college.
yeah, it's porch pounder.
You had to get that in there, didn't you?
I always got to get in every episode.
Goodness. Well, I mean, but the thing is that these drinks are so versatile, whether it's iconic old fashioned, whether you're putting it with a little coffee liqueur and making a revolver, which is what the cocktail that won yesterday, Jeff, was a Emerald Giant with a coffee liqueur, a Guinness float.
Yeah, the Guinness froth was interesting.
Yeah, the Guinness float. That's what
So
kind of took it over the top. For
Yeah,
me.
and
That's pretty sweet. Yeah. I
and
like that.
black walnut bitters, Aztec chocolate bitters, and the cocktail name though was really cool. We did a whole hippie theme in a line with Hug a Tree, Earth Month, and the cocktail name was "All the Leaves Are Brown and the Rye is Great."
Yeah.
Yeah,
The rye is
Love it.
great. Yeah.
great. Yeah,
It was
So
an all around that they nailed it on presentation
Yeah.
and name and the whole thing and taste. So
yeah. So
yeah,
it
was a good cocktail.
It was a good one. Some of the other names not so great.
a lot of butt names.
Lot
A
of
Yeah,
bud, lots
lot
of
you
bud.
know,
lot of bungholes
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Mike's dirty ass
Yeah.
and things
Okay.
I
like that.
claim
Good
nothing.
audience.
Whiskey Society.
Yeah.
We just invited people to come around and
so
got a bunch of weirdos.
to
Right.
explain, I'm so sorry, Jeff. I started talking about barrels and I started talking about the innovation of double oaking and how some master distillers, master blenders are using, chain methods of, and then I said the word bunghole of the
Uh-oh.
barrel.
And it inspired every cocktail
Yeah.
name from then on.
Yeah, it,
4 out of the 8.
it was bad.
Yeah.
Everybody went Beavis and Butthead on it.
They did.
first,
They
so
went full Beavis.
It's just too easy. I mean,
Too
I-
easy.
It was.
It's I think at one point I just had my head in my hands and saying I used
Yeah.
to do Shakespeare. I
Ah.
used to do
Yeah.
Shakespeare.
You said
I got
those
3
exact
curtain
words
calls in
yesterday.
college.
What are you talking about?
That's from another movie. It's a line.
Oh, okay.
I
You
is
ever saw
shooketh.
Galaxy Quest?
Oh,
I got
okay.
5
Yeah.
curtain calls as Henry VIII or whatever.
Yeah.
And now I'm in this show.
I am shooketh.
But thank you guys.
Oh,
I will.
yeah.
My goodness, yes. Thank you.
Well, we're going to
Thank
keep going here a little bit. Jeff, I want to thank
Thank
you so
you.
much
Yeah.
for coming on and spending your time from home
Appreciate
to have a cocktail with us and talk about this great juice you guys are making.
Thank
Cheers.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Guys have a great evening, and I look forward to seeing you out there maybe this fall.
All
That'd be
right.
great.
Would love to see you.
Oh.
Cool.
Send that rocket top.
Let's
Yeah,
figure out how to get out of this thing.
I'll take care of it.
We gotcha.
How do you? I can't stop.
Where's
That
that?
was like August yesterday. I can't stop.
I know. I'm going to keep going and
How do
going.
I turn this thing
That's,
off?
what?
How do-
You can take
I
the
don't
hot
know.
mic. We're still, well, we can take the hot cans off now because they
Oh.
get
Yeah.
so warm. I
Oh, yeah,
know.
we
don't
can,
they?
Holy cow.
Yeah.
hot
Yeah, we
can.
can hear each other. But,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's when you have a remote guest, you have to have the
Yeah, they got to have
Oh,
headphones,
okay.
So.
Woo.
Now,
So
It's
that
like-
was so much fun to talk to Jeff. When you have the master distiller, to talk about what's in the bottle and what they do, it's amazing to
Yeah.
just pick their brain.
Well, cool. I'm glad that we were able to get him in to talk to all
Short
of us.
notice,
And
Yeah.
I said it yesterday. I'm enamored with this tasting. And yesterday, with the inclusion of Redwood Empire and then a couple of the other ones that we did the 2XO, French
Yes.
Oak,
That was
the,
really
nice.
the French oak was
the
like
Dixon
was
Deadman.
really nice.
Yep, the
Yeah.
super, super neat. That's why everybody started talking about the bunghole, but
Right.
using Elevage. And then we also had Sagmore Rye, the double oak that we ended everything with. It was just a really good tasting. And
Yeah, thanks, Charlie.
Hey,
Yeah,
Appreciate
they're
you
all welcome.
having a society that
That's,
lets us.
and the food was divine.
Yeah, the food's
Yep.
always great.
I'm
Uh,
sorry they gave you more than 6 cocktails.
The-
I mean,
the-
I'm just,
hors d'oeuvres.
yeah.
Darn
Sure.
it.
are you
The,
saying the hors d'oeuvres
and
because
you
you,
stick by
you- hors d'oeuvres
whiskey and
were great.
Mexican food. goes
apparently
great
they weren't
together.
hors d'oeuvres. It was the Bloody Berry bar mix, but I thought it was an hors d'oeuvre table, so I was chowing down.
Gummy
I
worms
apologize.
and
I
and,
was like-
and dog
That's
dog
90%
treats.
of what the
I mean-
kids and adults do. So
And,
What-
and I'm like, is this hors d'oeuvres? The waitress she's like, well, it's kind of the Bloody Mary bar, but whatever you want.
Well, it-
your crew is great, and your crew.
Thank you.
Is
Oh, yeah,
great.
your staff
They're,
is great. Tell you, anytime, Jen, that you want to, when you're doing a tasting, you're doing something, and you want to then double down like this, come see us on a Monday,
Mhm.
and we'll
Yeah.
do the rest. We can set up ahead of time, so we don't have to drag them in at the last minute.
yeah.
Because they
Okay.
do. We've had great luck. Once we
Mhm.
tell people we want to talk about their spirit,
Yeah.
they come on. We get owners on. We get all kinds of people
Yeah.
on the show.
Oh,
they
yeah.
they don't mind doing it at all.
Well-
And yeah, we were happy to do this with you. It was a great partnership yesterday. We had a riot.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
right.
I'm glad. I'm glad. It was certainly we slid down a rabbit hole and then we tried to bounce our way out for
Mhm.
at some point, but
Everybody was all smiles, sitting up on that stage,
That's-
looking down, and just watching everybody laugh and everyone just
Yeah.
get into it. And
that's
know.
what Charlie has created with Whiskey Society that he just lets me be a
Yes.
part of as this. He's giving something back to the community. You want, what did you say? You want one day out of the month to just go crazy, come to
Yeah.
Whiskey Society.
Is it-
on a
it's monthly?
Sunday.
it's
Yes,
a monthly.
yeah,
every
it's
month.
monthly.
All right.
Yeah.
It's
Is it
every
the
month.
I thought it
same
was
same
quarterly.
Sunday
It's
every
even
month,
more-
or
we,
like,
we try to do like the
Close
last or
to.
the third last month, depending on holidays and everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
like your Memorial Day,
Sure,
which
it'll
are
be
going
the
to come
third,
out. So
yeah.
we've kind of figured out which ones work.
Right.
Okay.
So we try to do that. We also talk to our members, and they go, "We got a big thing going on. We're not going to come out, but
Yeah.
once a
Yeah.
month we try to do something. We try to have fun.
And you keep it fresh. It's something new. It's not the
it's-
same. It's not the
it's
same thing every
Very, very. We try to keep consistent, but we always try to keep it new, right?
Yeah.
Like, so this
Mhm,
was the Up and Smoke, which was the one you guys attended last time.
Yep.
We've had dispensaries come out to every one of them. We started with Greenhouse. We've had multiple different ones come out,
Mm.
which has been great. And then like the first one we did, we actually smoked Elijah Craig 5 different ways, and we
Wow.
actually did tobacco smoking on it.
How do you
Which
keep
was
Elijah
really
lit?
great.
Anyway,
Right.
I'm sorry.
we did
So
a
you
we did a
smoke- yeah,
cocktail
I'm sorry.
smoking
I'll stop.
episode
I'll shut
here,
up.
and we all left
Yeah.
smelling like a campfire.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
But we had different kits,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we tried to find which one we thought did the best job.
Yeah.
They were all gifts. We didn't, pick them out. They were like gifts.
Yeah.
Like, let's open these up and see how they work. His was crazy. They wanted you to like burn it on a piece of wood and then put a glass over it.
That's how a
Yeah.
lot
It's
of
like trying-
restaurants do
then-
it.
it's like
That's
trying
how
to catch a
gotta
fart.
flip
Yeah, I was trying to catch a fart.
It was
Right.
like catching
Yeah.
a fart. It was like this isn't gonna work.
that's the method that a lot of restaurants used to do is
Yeah.
burning a plank of wood and then putting the old Otis Supply and Ferndale used to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Now smoking tops are very, very
Yeah.
popular.
It was
That
great.
was
That's
August.
what I had. It was great.
And I
So-
want one. That's the one I want.
Yeah, and those are relatively, they're being kind of mass produced in a way.
Sure.
Before that, there was domes
Mhm.
that you had to put
I've
under,
seen the
Right.
boxes.
and then the boxes, which
Yeah.
are
It looked like something
expensive.
out of
There-
an
that's a
Austin.
presentation
It looked
at the
like something
restaurant,
out of
though.
Austin Powers.
My first
movie.
experience was going to Traverse City, and it was this little spot, and they had the sink catch, the little wire mesh you put over your garbage disposal, or when you don't have a garbage disposal.
Yeah.
They had that. They threw wood chips in it. They hit it with a blowtorch,
Hell
and they put
yeah.
a pint glass over the top,
Yeah.
and it just went in and
It
out.
works.
And I was like, "That's ingenious."
Yeah.
Dude.
And I was like,
It
"I wonder
works.
what kind of metals are in that." But whatever, it's
all
fine.
right, all right.
It was
What
a
kind of
great-
carcinogens am I going to
Yeah,
get?
I
It
know,
was
right?
a great
All right.
cocktail, and it was
Lead
phenomenal.
mesh.
Lead mesh.
yeah.
and, You know,
With a
I only
little
have a tick
asbestos
now,
wrap.
and it's fine.
I saw a
What
bartender.
restaurant were we at where the guy had the smoking gun where he made the bubbles?
Oh, the bubble blast.
Yeah, La Lanterna, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And had that Dominican bartender who's just a trip, and he has the gun, that
Bubble
$500 bubble gun.
Bubble gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very popular for
It's
cocktails right
it's
now.
a show.
But this is the thing, is that right? It's like one of the problems that we are having with on premise, which is being in restaurants and bars, as opposed to off premise, which is like party stores
Mhm.
and
Right.
everything. So selling to them is selling them something that they haven't heard of, that we want to bring people out,
Yeah.
they will say, oh, people only want to drink what they know. And I say, no, that's not the case, because it takes a lot for me to put Netflix on pause. I better have an experience. I got a lot of shows lined up. I have a hard working day. The couch is comfy. And you better, if I'm going out and I'm spending my Benjamins or whatever, I need to get a good bang for my
We've
buck.
sat with party store owners, and they brought us their barrel picks, and they brought us their stuff, and they sell out of their barrel picks.
Yeah.
And it can be something that no one's heard of, like Old Soul, a
yeah.
Mississippi whiskey that we had never heard of. That
Right.
was one of the greatest things we ever had. Once we tasted it,
Oh my God.
people, they couldn't keep it. It's like gone. They
Right.
just sold it all.
Yep.
And we were talking with was Bacta? Was that when we
Yeah.
were at their event, and the party store owners like 10 years ago, a rye whiskey was nothing. Now I need more shelf space.
Yeah.
They won't. We couldn't sell a rye whiskey 10 years ago.
2016 is really when we started seeing the emergence of rye with mixologists and bartenders knowing that it brings something to the party when I'm creating cocktails, whereas those weeded styles and soft corns, those are great, just we're like whatever, but the rye really does bring something big to the party. And all the heavy hitting mixologists will tell you is like, oh, I need bottled and bond. I want the higher proof.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
just
yeah.
really-
And that's
Oh,
what
the leather apron crowd.
Yes, for sure.
They're like hotter, fire, and it's like, I mean, because we got a bunch of bourbons in Daddy's shelf here at the studio, and
Daddy being
112, 116, and 120, and it's like, I mean, there's days it's a school night. I don't need 120 proof.
But if you were taking that,
It's never
and-
stopped him before.
Yeah.
Don't let them kid you.
But if you're taking
I
that,
said I don't need. I said I didn't want.
if you're mixing it with citrus,
Oh,
like or an egg white, and making a beautiful sour, that heavier ABV, the alcohol volume, is going to really show up.
Stand up.
So you're going to be like, oh, I'm getting a good value in this glass, because you
Yeah.
can taste still the whiskey. You're not just tasting, like yesterday, we tasted a lot of syrup,
A lot of shower
and
drinks.
a lot of
bitters.
a lot of
Oh,
bitters.
The bitters were good. The
Bitters are fine. I enjoy
But there
bitters.
was
I was quite impressed with how they balanced the use of bitters, which was shocking to me because everybody wants to go nuts with
Yeah, they want to go bang, 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 bang.
I was like, no, if you do more than 3, you're gonna taste only that. And I'm
Right.
like, yes, thank you.
You've taught them well. They're
Yeah.
members of your society for a reason.
Yeah.
When we
They're learning.
There wasn't one of the
teaching them.
cocktails that I needed a spit jug for.
Yeah.
There was not a single one of the
No,
cocktails I
no.
needed a
They
spit
were
jug for.
No,
Very
there
good.
was
They were all
one
drinkable.
annoying one, even though it was the best presentation. Putting that caramel around the glass is a bad idea.
Yeah, it was that
Bad
was,
idea.
I'm not going to say it.
That was just a sticky mess. That was just a sticky mess,
It's a
That they-
sticky
which
mess.
is my nickname in college.
Yeah,
I was
there
gonna
you
say,
go.
But
You know,
remember, that was the
Right, we gotta
yeah,
get-
yeah,
I gotta hit
yeah.
the
You
bell
gotta
the
get
right
the bell.
Yep.
I mean, remember
There it
that
is.
cocktail name was called the Woody Bunghole,
Yeah.
and they said it was a rim job. So
Yeah.
this was just it. Like I said, we
It's our
would
first
have,
rim job mention in a while.
You know when they're asking for a wet warm rag at the end
Yeah,
of the cocktail.
when we're asking for a
I
warm
mean,
yeah.
that's- Oh.
Honey, stay there, honey. I'll go get a warm rag.
Oh,
And the funniest
Lord.
thing-
I love you.
Lord.
the funniest thing is that
Oh,
he was late
Lord.
to the tasting because he had been to church. So that was like just
Oh.
the whole thing was just a.
You just had to fill his plate back up again for
I
next
need to go to
Sunday.
confession now, I
Yeah,
think.
right?
What
Right?
do we have on tap for the next society?
Yeah.
So the next one is actually in honor of May, and coming up here
dated her
soon.
in college, too.
Cinco de
Rosebuds
Mayo.
while you
Along with
sing.
April and
And
June.
Quattro de Mayo. and
Drink
all that.
Cinco de Drinko.
Cinco de Drinko. No, we're gonna explore the agave spirits. So
It was tequila and
we are doing tequila and mezcal.
Mezcal.
That's her jam. She loves her
Mezcal.
mezcals. Catherine, off camera.
And
Okay.
we haven't quite figured out what the interactive part of it is going to be.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we were thinking maybe a Price is Right kind
Yeah.
of.
Just get a mariachi band.
what were the rustlers?
Luchadors.
Luchadors.
The luchadors.
We
Yeah.
have measured the restaurant. A ring will fit in there.
Yes.
I've been offered luchador. I've been offered drag wrestling and also midget wrestling. And I just feel like when you get 3, you got to figure out how this is going to go. So we'll figure that out.
I have
Alright.
friends at now Darren McCarty bought a wrestling school in Centerline, Grinder is called Grinder Wrestle Academy, but that was the House of Truth. A good Ham Shamrock guy, my buddy Truth Martini. That was his wrestling school.
Yeah.
I can get you wrestlers.
I mean, we could do.
I can do that.
We could give everybody luchador hats and then or masks and make them do thumb wrestling.
It may.
That might be better. It's gonna be warm, but it'll be better.
Well,
Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Yeah.
Well, like I'm just
Paint the Rock'em Sock'ems with luchadors on them. And...
I like. Can I
that
please
might
get
be
your
a thing.
insurance card? Welcome to Whiskey
Yes.
Society. I'm going to
Yeah.
make a copy of this. I'll give it right back
Oh,
to you.
you know
Here's
what?
the
Can you please-
waiver.
can you please
Just
sign this?
enjoy this.
Speaking of that, things you have to sign. How does one sign up for the Whiskey Society?
All right. So Whiskey Society, you can pop on into the restaurant anytime. It is $180 for 1 year. You get way over that value. Basically, we're doing anywhere from 5 to 6 tastings of a bourbon, whiskey, tequila, whatever you really want. Every tasting, a cocktail or an event kind of thing.
Swag.
Swag.
There's always
some
some
sort
swag,
of
some
other
giveaway.
benefit. If you just want to come to the Whiskey Society, try it out, dip your toe in the water. Maybe we're too weird for you. Could be a thing.
I mean, I do know some of those members rather well. They are kind of weird.
$25. You can just come in, stop in, hang out. If you decide you're like, you know what, these are my people because we're all weird. We take that $25, we put it towards your membership. So,
oh, that's
lot of
great.
good
So people can
benefits.
get a one-off, and
Yeah.
all right, I like
yeah,
it.
you get to sample, a little free sample.
That's
But
what's wrong with that.
we try to drive that. It's community. It's doing the whole like. We've had so many groups that have been friends now that like they come in, they sit together, they hang out. That they're, we have a DJ, we've got realtors.
Dude,
We've
I've
got people that
experienced
live
it.
in Europe,
I've
and
gone in
it's-
just to sit
yeah.
out at the bar, and someone starts telling me, sit next to us. They have a Whiskey Society here.
Yeah,
And we come here and we drink. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
One of the key
Cat and I were
things-
just sitting there having a margarita once, and the guy just started
Wow.
talking to us about the Whiskey Society. I'm like, oh, as a matter of
And
fact,
then he
don't
opened
tell
up his
me more.
raincoat. and
Well,
said,
Had a Rolex
and that's a very
D to a
normal
bridge.
thing, No,
The mentioning or the raincoat?
okay,
the
I'm
raincoat.
sorry.
Oh,
and-
okay.
and also the mentioning.
Okay.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
No, we opened up Whiskey Taco during the pandemic. We went community focused because that's what we have to do to survive.
Yeah.
We threw chalk out in the front of the store. We were like, go home, chalk your driveway. We were Montage Grill at that time because we didn't have money to buy a sign to put it up because we thought we were going to have a bar, and then we had a pandemic. And we had people go out, they would put, Montage Grill. We did a whole thing where basically we judged all the stuff. Everybody got basically a free to-go meal during that time. But it was community focused. We worked with Avalon Housing. Avalon Housing in Ann Arbor was like, we need food. We have money. I was like, what do you guys want? Tell me what the budget is. We'll make it happen. We were driving 200 to 300 burritos out to Ann Arbor every week just to feed Avalon Housing. It was all about community, and that's what really started us and kind of getting us into this.
You've been incredibly generous. Anytime I do my goofy fundraisers, and anytime I ask Charlie for gift cards, he's like, "What do you need? How many you need? How many you want? How do you want me to sign it? What do you want me to do? We give you whatever you need." And it's just been great. Do you guys have a food truck now?
We do have a food truck.
You do have a food truck, so you do some offsite catering stuff.
I
thought
just
you
said
did.
doo-doo.
Dude. Well, it's
We
not really a bell.
do
It
the
wasn't
food
dirty
truck
enough to be
as
a...
much as we can.
Sorry.
We love the private parties. You call us, book us up. We'll come. We'll hang out at your private party. We actually kind of do. Basically, we run it as a separate kitchen. We'll come and serve your party. If you want to work right off the truck, we have that option as well. We got a good contract with Ford, so we're out there about once a month or twice a month doing product development center over in Dearborn.
Oh,
which has been
wow.
great.
Is it flat rate or is it based on the number of people?
That one, they just come out and they buy.
Okay.
With house parties, we like to do kind of flat rates with people, which,
Sure.
like we kind of look at that in $2,000. You can come out, we'll serve, about 100 some people and kind of get you going that way.
That's fair.
And everything is being made fresh. That's what
Yeah.
I love about Whiskey Taco is that he's getting tortillas, chopping the corn tortillas to make his tortilla chips. He's not just buying bags.
Those
of
were
tortillas.
delicious yesterday.
They're
by the way,
so
yes.
crispy and
Yeah.
crunchy. And as someone who grew up in Texas and transplant and lived in Little Puerto Rico in Chicago, and then moved here to Michigan, I know a thing or two about Mexican food.
Yeah.
So their salsa, it's all being it's all fresh veg.
When
It's
is
not-
that chicken parm taco coming back?
So
That was my
the
jam.
chicken parm taco is always available. We have all the
it's
ingredients.
off menu.
It's
It's
a secret menu.
Oh, secret menu.
You heard it here.
You heard it
folks.
here on the Man Cave Happy Hour.
It's
I
a
love it.
We
secret,
only sold
secret
200
menu.
in a year, and I'm assuming it was to you. So I apologize that I took it off. It is available. We can make it anytime. It's such a fun taco. It's one of my favorites.
It
and I
was just
like-
delicious. I was like, this is just great. It's brilliant.
we were honestly pushing wine, and that's how that taco developed. Because I was like, well, what goes with wine? Well, chicken parmesan.
Of
That's
course.
the most
Yeah, oui,
most
oui.
fancy thing to go with wine.
That's right.
And so we did the chicken parm taco. So yeah.
No,
And
it's
the
great.
chicken parm taco does not have parmesan. It's Munster. I apologize.
Well, you have all the ingredients. We'll make it
Hey,
work.
It's
Cheesy.
Yeah.
Cheese is
Fair
cheese.
Fair enough.
And it's
Cheese is
delicious.
cheese.
Real quick, you asked about what else is coming up. Charlie and I have been talking a lot about this. So we have tequila coming up, and then in June we're doing Fat Summer, where we're gonna fat wash some cocktails and some whiskey.
We had a little. You tried to do that, right?
I tried to do that. It came out a little chunky.
So my
Yuck.
one blend that I want to do,
Much like me, came out a little chunky.
and I love this because you guys said Michter's, because I actually did this with a bottle of Michter's. I
Oh.
did black chai into my Michter's, 24 hours, made basically rye whiskey with tea. Took that out. I made an old fashioned, so I did a triple rich simple syrup, did my bitters, a little bit of dilution, and then basically poured 2 cups of milk into it, let it dilute and get all curled and gross. Filtered it through a coffee filter, then filtered it one more time through another coffee filter, and you had a golden old fashioned. And I was like, this looks pretty good. Tried it, phenomenal.
Huh.
Had a second one. I was like, oh, this is really good. Had a third, and I was like, wow, you're hammered. You should not be making any decisions at this point. So we're gonna do one of those. We're gonna do a tzatziki martini. So we're gonna make basically a yogurt tzatziki. I'm gonna filter some gin through it, and then we're gonna make a martini out of that, which would ideally work out great. And we're gonna do that this month just to make sure that it works out great.
Best intentions.
Right.
Best intentions, but I want to make sure they're good, because it's a very fun thing if you can do it right. If you mess it up, it's gross. It is definitely.
That's a fine line that
It's
we
a
walk.
very fine
Yes,
line, and
yes.
filtering is very important. So
Yeah, I found that out.
What
Filtering
is that
critical.
milk alcohol they make where you could like ferment milk and it comes out clear?
So clarified milk punch.
That's it. Milk
Clarified
punch. Milk
yes.
punch.
And,
That's
honestly,
what it's
and
called.
honestly, we should probably do something like that too, like a rum punch, a clarified milk rum
Speaking
punch.
of rum, though, too, I think that rum is another whiskey society, because there's so many beautiful rums that really have a bad rap, and finished in whiskey, finished in rye, finished in cognac. There's just so many different rums out there that drink like bourbon.
They do
Right.
drink like
Mhm.
bourbons.
Right.
I have one of my good friends, like Catherine and I, spend a lot of time at Tokororo down in Eastern Market, which has 128 rums, honey. I think it is 120. And they've been introducing me. So this is the difference between a Panamanian rum
Yes,
and
you can go island hopping.
yeah, and all these different blend. I'm like, geez, I can't even keep up. So there's a lot of unexplored
Mhm.
rum action out there in the Michigan spirits palette, I feel.
Oh,
I'm trying to
absolutely.
do my job. Literally, when I moved here, I saw a lot of gaps in people's back bars. And I noticed that there was still just a lot of basic rum out there, but people were trying to be a craft bar
Mhm.
spot. And I was like, what? Why?
You need more than Bacardi.
You need-
you got. I mean,
Little
Kraken's
more-
great, but you need more.
You need more than Bacardi. You need more than Malibu. There are other, there's other
and
things
Captain
out
Morgan's,
there, and Captain Morgan, Sailor Jerry's, and which are, they are
They're
great. They're
fine.
great if you're sitting on the beach or.
Release
And
the
guys,
Kraken.
I
The
love my
Kraken.
dark
Love
and
my
stormies.
Kraken.
I love
But
Kraken.
there's just others, like a lot of love, like Florida Cognac is really great, but Diplomatico, Bamboo, Plantation or Plantaray.
There's
now.
a bottle of Pirate and Polar. And those are both-
Papa's Pilar.
Papa's
Yeah, there's
Pilar.
a bottle of that at my
Guilty pleasure.
at my
I love that.
PLAV post 6, and I'm the only one that drinks it. But
Yeah.
it's back there. They always replace it because it's me.
That's-
That's my
that's
sipper when I go to the old Veterans Hall.
That's Ernest Hemingway's estate family. That's the guys.
We could do a whole show on that.
We could do a guys.
We haven't done a rum. We did a rum. It's been a couple of years. We did it at the whiskey.
Well, we did it at
Patio.
Tokororo. and we did one on the patio at Whiskey in the Jar.
Yeah, but it's been years.
Been a
So
while.
yeah, we need a little
gotta
rum.
We're open the rum.
We do a rum.
You could actually do rum and cigars too,
rum.
because that's
Absolutely.
that's one of the best pairings.
I mean,
It
my
really
opening
is.
cocktail here was the Appletons with a little bit of bitters.
There you
Nice.
go.
That's
there
what
you
I
go.
sipped on when I got here.
Oh, did
Yeah.
you put some bitters in it?
Yeah.
Oh, fair
I
play.
do every week. Yeah,
All right.
that's been my go-to lately.
Well, thank you
So.
guys for having me.
Oh,
Yo,
great being here.
oh,
thank you for
thank
being
you.
here on short notice after a party yesterday.
Yeah.
That I'm still recovering from.
No, this has been a pleasure. It's been absolutely amazing this evening.
You,
to
got,
have
you
you guys
are
here with
gracious
us.
hosts when you are at your place at the Whiskey
Thank
Taco
you.
Foxtrot, and we hope we're fair hosts today.
Yes, thank
Absolutely.
you.
So thanks for coming in. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all the podcast things in all the podcast places. That is August Gitchlag.
That's Matt Fox over there. He's sexy.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
And this is Jamie Flanagan. He's
Hey,
sexier than I am.
Oh, he's got that voice, you know.
Yeah, he
All right.
does.
Cheers.
Thank you, Jen.
Cheers.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Cheers, everybody.
Guys. Cheers.
I love the
Salute.
clinks.
Good dings.